To access store defaults, go to the main store menu. If maintenance is not selected in the level 1 menu command button, click it until maintenance appears. Then click on store defaults. The form will be initialized, preceded by the find form. We'll leave the find form blank. The list will show all existing store locations if there is more than one location. We'll select store 001 and press enter, or click on the OK command button. That populates the form with the existing store information. Notice that this form has 8 tabs, each one for a dedicated specific purpose. We'll start with the first tab, Demographics. This tab has 2 basic areas, demographic information, and store hours of operation. Each set of data is pretty much self-explanatory. When you have completed entering or modifying any information on any tab, be sure to click the Save or Restore command buttons on the toolbar. Tab 2 is labeled Taxes and Waiver. The 2 sections on this tab are pretty much self-explanatory. You should enter the sales tax rates as whole percentages. For example, if the rental sales tax rate is 7.5%, enter 7.50, not 0.0750. Enter the retail sales tax rate, even if it is the same as the rental rate. Enter the amount of any damage waiver and indicate if it is taxable by checking the checkbox for taxable. You can also enter the default verbiage you want to have appear on the customer invoice if the description is not damage waiver. Tab 3 is labeled Rental, Retail Commissions. The 2 sections on this tab are for rental and retail commissions data. You can have up to 8 tiers for each. Tier 1 for rental indicates that a commission of 3% is paid on any rental that has a value of $50 or less. If you were to have a commission based only on rentals that were greater than $50, you would need to create Tier 1 as $50, but the commission rate would be 0. Therefore, enter the top value for each tier and check the dollars checkbox if the commission rate is expressed in dollars rather than percentages. Make the last tier amount a value that will cover the highest transaction amount. On this form, we've entered $10,000 since it is unlikely that any rental or retail sale will ever exceed $10,000. Tab 4 is labeled Messages. Enter the comment verbiage you wish to have appear on the customer invoice for each type of transaction, such as prom, retail, etc. Default comments number 1 through number 4 are variable descriptions that can be selected by the order entry staff at the time of printing invoices. For example, the order associate may wish to use comment number 2 or comment number 3, rather than the default comment number 1. Typically, default number 1 is used unless the associate selects a different comment. Tab 5 is labeled Markets, Miscellaneous. This tab has 4 basic sections. At the left is Pricing, top middle is the Miscellaneous section, below that, are required rental return scanning options, and at the right are accepted credit cards and accepted tender types. In the Pricing section, the geographic market is usually set to a default value of A. Unless you have multiple regional store locations, typically this value will be as shown on this screen. The next 3 market items are to indicate which pricing structures are to be used in each case for rentals. For example, Market Prom is set to a value of 1, while the market code for weddings is set to 2. See the section on rental inventory pricing. The default SOC amount is typically not used. Contact Business Techniques for more information on this. You can also enter the default value for late charge transactions, and measurements only transactions. At the bottom of the section you can select an option to require a Y code, indicating why a customer chose your store. Also, you can indicate if you use rental barcodes. Contact Business Techniques for further information on these subjects. In the center section, the first item is a coat in sleeve option. Typically this is not used. If you have a thermal printer for printing customer receipts, check this box. The phantom location option is typically not used, but indicates that the selected location is not a store. If you have multiple store locations, it is probable that data from each store has to be consolidated each night. If this is the case, you should enter a value in the download days that indicates to the computer how far back in time, each night, the program should retrieve data to be sent for consolidation. Slip digits is used to indicate the maximum slip number that is used. A value of 4 would indicate that the largest slip number can only be 9,999. The next item, download minimum, is no longer used. The checkbox for Liberty software is typically not used. The checkbox for distribution center is used to indicate that this location is a distribution center or plant rather than a store. The checkbox labeled touchscreen is used to indicate that the user is using a touchscreen in addition to a keyboard. That feature may provide some screen alterations that allow for the touchscreen technologies. The area below, with the label, required return scanning, are options to indicate what items must be scanned upon return of rentals. In the right-hand section, check the types of credit cards that you accept, and also indicate the tendered forms you accept from customers. Tab 6 is labeled Required Fields. There are 6 sections on this tab representing the various types of transactions with a listing of the fields that may be mandatory as determined by you. If the item is checked, then that field is required before being able to save the transaction based on the type at the top of the section. For example, first name is checked for customer. That indicates to the program that store personnel may not save a customer transaction unless the first name has been entered. Tab 7 is labeled Dates. There are 3 sections to this tab. The first section is used to determine when a customer may pick up a rental based on the use date. For example, if the use date is Sunday, then the pickup can be made 2 days earlier. The next section indicates when the rental must be returned and is also based on the use date. The third section, labeled Other, is used to indicate the default pickup days and pickup time. The third item, labeled Last Physical Inventory, is for informational purposes only. It indicates the last time the physical inventory was performed at that store. Tab 8 is labeled Pickup and Return Required Fields. Indicate by clicking on the checkboxes as to which items must be scanned at pickup time, and which items must be scanned at return time. To add a new location, be sure you are on the Demo Graphics tab, then go to the toolbar and click on the New Command button. That presents an empty form in which you can enter the information desired. Store location codes cannot be deleted, nor can any location code be modified. Location codes must be unique. When you have completed the form, click on Save or click on the Restore button.